一会儿可以沟通一下，问一问吧。就是所有的东西可能都需要一个时机。对，如果有了好的机会，然后对手也很愿意接，或者他的伤病也没有，然后所有的东西，天时地利人和来了。
Zhang Weili just shook up the entire UFC women's division with one sentence, I want to go up. That's right. The strawweight queen wants flyweight gold, and she's gunning for Valentina Shevchenko. When asked who she'd rather fight, Valentina or Virna Jandiroba, Zhang didn't hesitate. No, she didn't want the safer option. She wants war. Zhang Weili says, I want to go up to flyweight. We're talking about two killers. Zhang, the face of strawweight since Julianna Shevchenko. The sniper of 125, a woman who nearly ruled the division into retirement. This isn't just another title shot. It's legacy. It's dominance. It's the only women's fight that can rival Nunes versus Harrison for star power. And if it happens, Zhang has a shot to become only the second woman in UFC history to hold two belts at once.
Wondering if you saw Amanda Nunes' reaction.
I did. I like it. I thought she retired too soon anyway. I like that she's intrigued by this fight. I love it. And I love Amanda. Amanda and I have an incredible relationship, and I think she's the GOAT in all combat sports, female. So if Kayla can get in there and win a title, it would absolutely be fun to see her come back and try to grab it again.
And Dana White, he's giving her the green light. In his words, she's done it all at 115. I don't have a problem with it, but don't think it's all glory. Zhang hasn't fought at 125 since 2017. And let's not forget, Shevchenko isn't done yet. She's hungry. She wants that belt back. And Zhang's got to deal with speed, power, and years of championship-level experience in a weight class she hasn't touched since her regional days. But if Zhang moves up, what happens to strawweight? Enter Virna Jandiroba. She's red hot, 6-1 since her last loss to Mackenzie Dern. If the belt becomes vacant, we could be looking at Dern versus Jandiroba 2 for gold. And that's a grappler's dream. Zhang Weili's next move is massive. She's on the brink of history, but one misstep at flyweight, and it could all come crashing down. Will she conquer Shevchenko? Or lose everything trying? So what do you think? Should Zhang move up and risk it all for greatness? Or defend the strawweight throne a little longer? Drop your take, go for glory, or stay and defend, like, subscribe, and don't miss our next breakdown.
There's been many moments, I feel like, where I could have maybe been bitter or ungrateful. And there has been times, like, in the past where I've just been, like, kind of, like, felt entitled to stuff, you know what I mean? And, yeah, Valentina looked phenomenal. I thought she showed why she's, the greatest, I mean, obviously, like, we know, like, Amanda Nunes has that title, but in just my personal opinion, like, she's my favorite. So I just, when I seen her, perform, I knew she was going to do well. I knew she had a really good training camp.
Namajunas just publicly predicted that Zhang Weili, the UFC's most dominant strawweight champion, would lose to Valentina Shevchenko in their rumored super fight. Thug Rose predicts Bullet will bullet. Zhang Weili UFC women's division just got personal.
Yeah, I would give it. I would lean more towards Valentina. I do think Weili would have a chance. I think she's quick enough, and she's definitely. I think in her last fight, she showed a lot of, like, elevation in her game and stuff. So I do think, like, I think she would do pretty well. But the only thing is I just believe Valentina is the better martial artist, and so at the end of the day, that's just kind of who I would pick. But I mean,
this isn't your average fight prediction. It's a subtle call-out, a rivalry, revival, and maybe even a title challenge setup. Thug Rose just reminded everyone she beat Zhang twice, knocked her out, outsmarted her. And now, she's backing Valentina to expose her too. Zhang Weili wants greatness. She's cleaned out 115, and now she's hunting history, chasing the rarest prize in women's MMA. A second division title. Only Amanda Nunes has done it before. And guess who's standing in her way? The most calculated killer in women's MMA, Valentina Bullet Shevchenko. Rose Namajunas knows both fighters intimately. She's fought Zhang twice. She's chased Shevchenko for years. So when Rose says Valentina is the better martial artist, she's not just guessing, she's speaking from painful experience. Rose isn't calling Zhang weak. She actually praised her evolution, speed, and improvement. But in Rose's words, Valentina is next level, Zhang has a chance, but my pick is Bullet Namajunas. Here's where things get real. Zhang and Shevchenko aren't the only names circling this super fight. Rose Namajunas, she wants next. She's moving up, she's co-headlining UFC Fight Night Atlanta. She's fighting Miranda Maverick, a sleeper fight most people are ignoring. But Rose isn't. If Rose dominates, she could leapfrog everyone. Why? Because there's unfinished business between her and Valentina, and nobody knows Zhang's game better than Rose. Right now, Shevchenko's throne is under siege. Zhang wants it. Natalia Silva just beat Grasso and wants it. Rose is making a run for it. The UFC has a problem most divisions would kill for too many killers. This isn't just a fight lineup. It's a women's MMA power struggle. The three most violent women in the UFC are circling each other. And only one gets bullet first. So, what do you think? Did Rose just throw shade at Zhang Weili, or is she just being brutally honest? Type Team Bullet if you think Valentina smokes Zhang, or Zhang 2 belts. If you think the Chinese queen shocks the world.
I'm gonna get my belt back again. I'm gonna get my belt back again, and I'm gonna come back here, keep making history, keep making history. This is what I born for. This is what I come here to do. So I'm gonna keep doing, and I see you guys soon. We're gonna celebrate together. And new!
Amanda Nunes just delivered the most chilling message of the night, not in the cage, but in the Hall of Fame, with Kayla Harrison breathing down her neck. The Lioness made one thing crystal clear: she's coming back and she's coming for the belt. June 26th was all about celebrating Amanda Nunes, two-division queen record breaker, history maker. In her acceptance speech, she reminded everyone that her reign isn't over.
I'm gonna get my belt back again.
That and new, that's not just hype. That's a message to Kayla Harrison, the next chapter in a legendary rivalry. Let's rewind. Nunes fought Harrison in 2018, winning a razor-thin unanimous decision. But this isn't just a rubber match. It's MMA's version of cat versus tiger. The champion versus the undefeated Olympic gold medalist. Neither fighter has ever been stopped, and the stakes? Stratospheric. In her speech, Nunes confirmed she's back in the UFC's testing pool, the final hurdle before she steps up. That means the fight with Harrison isn't just talk. It's almost official.
I think Amanda Nunes fights again? She just said yes.
And question for Kayla. There you go.
It might just be the biggest super fight of women's MMA since Rousey versus Holm. I'm gonna get my belt back implies loss and comeback. Come back here, keep making history hints. She'll defend it again. We're gonna celebrate together, and new. Clearly hinting at championship return. Nunes isn't just promising, she's warning. That's confidence bordering on confrontation. So what happens next? Timeline isn't official, but boxing cycle estimates say late 2025 or early 2026. That means a 37-year-old Nunes chasing history will meet us in our prime. Think about that. What do you think? Can Nunes pull off the comeback? Is Harrison the new queen or the perfect pawn in this comeback story? Comment, type, and new if you're with Nunes. Or Kayla evil if you think Kayla will hold the belt.
It was pretty damn amazing.
Well, your next opponent, Amanda Nunes, gets into the Hall of Fame tonight. She's had a brilliant career, and she's looking to expand on that in your next fight. Is there a timetable that you have in mind for when you want to face her?
I don't have a timetable. I know MSG, I think, is in November. I would love to fight at MSG December this year, but I think that she's not back in the drug testing pool yet, so that might not be possible.
She told me she was.
Oh, she is? Awesome. Well, then maybe we can do it in November or December.
All right. Well, I don't know if you noticed. She has Larissa Pacheco here with her. Did you notice? Do you think that's mind games at play?
I mean, if it is, it's not working. But cool.
She's planning on training with her in the lead up to your fight. Do you think that's a good plan?
I mean, Larissa's a great fighter, so I think it's good to have good training partners. And I don't know if Larissa's fought in a while, so maybe she needs some money. So that'd be great.
What's the coolest thing you've done since?
The bantamweight world just got even hotter. Amanda Nunes is coming back, And guess who she's training with? Larissa Pacheco, the only woman who's ever beaten UFC champ Kayla Harrison Nunes, trains with Pacheco? Kayla responds. That's the one showing Nunes posing with her PFL rival Larissa Pacheco at the UFC Hall of Fame. Amanda Nunes arrived with Larissa Pacheco raising eyebrows. Larissa Pacheco dethroned Kayla Harrison in the PFL, the only woman with a win over her. So yeah, minds were gonna blow when these two started training together at the red carpet of the Hall of Fame. Aaron Bronsteter caught up with Kayla and she didn't fall for the mind games. She stayed ice cold, like she never even blinked. No overreactions, just calm confidence. Let's rewind. These two fought 3 times in the PFL. Harrison won the first 2 decisively, but Pacheco shocked the world in 2022. That loss haunted Harrison. It remains her only career defeat. Pacheco has her number, or at least she did. Kayla sees the logic: great training partners, mutual benefit. After all, Pacheco fought in 2023. Maybe she needed a little cash boost. Maybe she needs some money, Harrison, on Pacheco. That comment? Classic Jays of the Octagon. Called it out, but made it clear it doesn't intimidate her. Da Adderall mind games are part of the fight biz. But Kayla remembers when Nunes trained with her to stay sharp. So now Nunes brings in Pacheco, Kayla's kryptonite. That's bold, but Kayla's response was even bolder. It's not working. That's real confidence. Now the anticipation is off the charts. Nunes versus Harrison, one of the most electrifying rematches in women's MMA? Sighty. Nunes ready for her comeback. Larissa's just a training partner. But she's also proof Harrison can lose. So yes, the stakes just skyrocketed. So here's the big question. Does this change the fight? Is Amanda stacking her team for mind games, or is Kayla's calm conviction putting the pressure back on her? Comment below. Lioness strategy. Kayla's still boss. Like, subscribe for all the drama as women's MMA history unfolds.
I want to say what everybody's thinking on their minds, which is that, of course, she at some point was on steroids.
I know you've brought up PEDs in the past. Any concerns that they will be involved in this fight?
Golly, how would I know? I wouldn't know how to navigate that, because at this point, this drug testing is like the wild, wild west. It's like pee in a plastic cup that has absolutely no security on it, and do what you got to do. Even in the the Olympics, with the Russians being able to tamper with those USADA like unbreakable type of bottles and be able to switch the peas in them. Eventually everything that you do in the dark comes to the light, and I cannot confirm 110% whether she is or is not on PEDs, but I will say that back then in the Olympics, she looked, like a girl, very feminine, and now she looks super juicy and like cut up, like somebody give that girl a Band-Aid, because she's cut. And it doesn't just happen overnight just because you touch the weights a little bit. So, I want to say what everybody's thinking on their minds, which is that, of course, she at some point was on steroids, and hopefully she cycles off of them before June 7th, makes the weight, and pisses clean, because that's what I'm going to be doing. And I want this to be as fair a fight as possible, minus her, being a weight bully and cutting the 50 pounds in order to make the weight class.
Last thing, Kayla Harrison on the show tomorrow. She texted me right before you came on. Anything you want to say to her? Any message to Kayla that we can play to her tomorrow?
Honey, I am not afraid of you. You are not some oogity boogity person who can't be beat. I see you bleed the same blood as me. I seen you lose in the PFL, and that's when you came running over to the big leagues. Like, you are in the big leagues now. You were playing over there in the AAAs. You were over there in the minors. Now it's the real shit. Now is where we find out what you're freaking made of. Can you make the weight? Can you fight for 25 minutes? And I guarantee you, I will not go away. If she thinks she's just going to take me out in the first round or the second round or the third round, like, Holly Holm or Ketlin Vieira, she is sorely mistaken. And I'm just so sick of her trying to act like she's some freaking boogeyman. It's like, I'm not afraid of you. Plain and simple. I am not afraid of you.
Legit, I don't know if there's a fight that I'm looking forward to the build-up more than you versus Kayla.
Well, let's make it happen then. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
In her first interview since tapping out, Julianna Pena revealed she fought Kayla Harrison with a broken thumb and a torn elbow. She called it a severe handicap and claimed the fight was going perfectly until the Kimura. Perfect? Let's roll the tape. This is what perfect looked like. Kayla Harrison took Pena down, dominated positionally, and forced a tap with 5 seconds left in round 2. And this wasn't some flash submission. This was the result of Olympic-level pressure and broken defense. So when Pena says the fight was going to plan, it sounds more like damage control than facts. And UFC vet Cody Gibson didn't waste time calling her out. In a savage post, he said, and I quote, "No one cares if you sign the contract. You're telling the world you believe you can win. It's either true or it isn't. Post-fight excuses are becoming more common and they annoy me." That's not just a shot at Pena. That's a shot at the entire trend of fighters using injuries to rewrite a loss after the fact. And fans, they're loving it. Pena said her entire fight camp was built around dragging Kayla into deep waters round 3. Tired, desperate, then attack. But guess what? That plan doesn't work if you don't survive round 2. This wasn't a cardio issue. It was a dominance issue. Kayla didn't gas. She hunted, and she humiliated a former 2-time champ. Once the interview dropped, the internet turned on Pena. The same fans who cheered her upset over Amanda Nunes are now calling her out for excuse-making, delusion, and clout chasing. Because remember, this is the same woman who promised to derail Kayla Harrison's UFC debut and make it look easy.
I am not trash talking. I'm simply defending myself. This all started before I even knew who Kayla Harrison was. When I beat Amanda Nunes, I saw this blonde girl sitting cage side, freaking out, cussing and having all sorts of obscenities to say about me for beating Amanda Nunes and throwing a gigantic wrench in her plans. So she's been trash talking me for a long time, long before I even knew who she was. It created more of a problem for me when she said that it was going to be the media's fault. They were going to have blood on their hands for you guys giving me the delusion to think that I could hang with her and stand across the octagon from her.
But after tapping out, now we're talking about elbows and thumbs. Even casual fans see right through it.
What? Today, of course she's going to be tired. She knows that she's got to fight me. Of course. Don't compare yourself to Anderson Silva. Do not compare yourself to Anderson Silva. Shut up. She's not scared. She's not scared. She's not scared. Bring it back. You stop. She's not scared. She's retiring.
Is that for me?
No, it's to Kayla and Julianna, but if you want to answer.
No, I'll answer that. At the end of the day, Amanda hates Kayla more than she hates me. That's a fact.